So we're here doing an interview with this amazing person, and maybe you just want to say who you are, where you're from, and yes.
Absolutely blessed to be here. Thanks so much. My name's Chris Kendall. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm 38 years old and been raw vegan for 15 years, into nutrition for 14 years, and I
Yeah.
guess I'm also a registered holistic nutritionist, raw food lifestyle coach, and raw chef.
Amazing, super amazing. So how did you come to this raw vegan lifestyle or vegan lifestyle? And yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was a little bit of a journey. I've been skateboarding since I was 5 years old, and by the time I was 17 and 18, I was moved out and drinking a lot and doing drugs and eating fast food basically all the time, lots of burgers and pizza, and I fell into
Whoa.
depression. I felt really crappy. I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, but my joints hurt. I wasn't recovering well. My mindset was off. I was doubting myself and doubting life. I didn't want to be around. I wished for death often. And I found yoga in all of places. I found it in Walmart. I was in Walmart and found a VHS tape, and that changed my life. I started doing yoga every day, started breathing deeper, started reading philosophy, specific yogic philosophy that talked about karma, the benefits of eating plant-based, and that really changed my whole mindset, So it was about a 4.5 year journey where I was reading more about nutrition, reading more about diet, reading more about karma and animal welfare, like books like Diet for New America. And eventually I went vegan, and then I started reading books on raw veganism.
Yeah.
And then I met Dr. Doug Graham about 15 and a bit years ago, and
Whoa.
he was at a vegan health festival, one of the only raw speakers, and his stuff just made so much sense. I'd been learning for almost 5 years at that point, but he just really nailed it down, simplified it into an easy to digest version of raw vegan. And the next day I went raw, and my whole life changed. Before that I just wanted to skateboard more,
Yeah.
heal
Yeah.
faster,
Yeah.
and then I went raw, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe how good I feel and how much sense this makes. This is my purpose, and I haven't really looked back. It's been 15 years, just been focusing on learning nutrition still, specifically raw food and vegan, and yeah.
It's so amazing. And you also have like a whole career out of this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you sell books?
Yeah.
So
So for 5 years I really just learned and I was, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't all that other stuff. I was just going to Doug's support board, and then otherwise reading books, and eventually I got to a place where I was like, this is my purpose, but I'm kind of a procrastinator, and it just took a long time for me to jump into my dream and to feel comfortable, because I was really really wanted to get that down. I was a little bit shy about it, right?
Exactly, but maybe it's good to get first confident, and then you can.
Yeah, for me it worked out that way.
Yeah.
And eventually though, I got to a place where I couldn't deny it any further. There's some relationship things that changed. I was kind of given this ultimatum of do that, because I was like, this is what I want to do, or do something totally different, and I was like, I have to do this.
You have to do this.
And within about 2 weeks I wrote my first book, 101 Frickin' Rawsome Recipes.
Okay.
And this other one, 10 Sure Short Ways to Drastically Improve Your Health. I actually missed in the story that I went to school for holistic nutrition in the beginning. I was halfway through my schooling when I met Doug Graham. And I just started therawadvantage.com 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And full time, that's all I've done now. The last 10 years, all I do is I have recipe books, I run retreats, I go to festivals like this and speak on the benefits of raw food and holistic health, and otherwise do fun t-shirts and stuff like that, peace, love, and seasonal fruit, and don't have a cow, go bananas, all that fun stuff. So I live through sharing my abundance. I share with others the heights they can reach and try and help them through consultations.
That's amazing. And did you have any struggles with this diet?
Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, it wasn't so much struggles with the diet, it was more struggles with my self-identity.
Yeah.
And, I felt like I needed this diet. I was a raw vegan, and I needed it to succeed in everything else. And reality, it just kind of brought me back to more self-work. So more of the troubles were when I fell into, whether it was like a social or emotional situation, I didn't have the tools at my disposal to grow through it. Rather, I used old coping mechanisms like food, and fell back into cooked foods or into other things. And it took some time to develop and recognize that, develop new coping mechanisms and recognize that old cooked food patterns and stuff like that were just broken coping mechanisms, right? So as I started to really go more into that and feel what I was feeling, accept, love, and release it, and then find other ways to transmute that energy into positivity, then those started to kind of melt away, and I just felt better and better.
Whoa, amazing. And maybe the last question, do you have any tips for people who want to try this diet, how to stick to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, I'd say be super loving, super easy with yourself, recognizing it doesn't have to be an overnight switch. Like, you can have the highest heights and highest aspirations, but no matter what happens, just love yourself. And every experience you have, try and sink into it. Be there, be present, breathe with it. Make it a meditation, because then you will
Yeah.
grow and experience through it. And instead of it just being an unconscious reaction and, just hurting yourself and saying, I'm never going to do that again, and then doing it again and again. And number two is really recognize this is a lifestyle of abundance. You really don't have to restrict with fruits and vegetables. Eat as much as you can possibly enjoy every single meal, and get some education and help if you need it.
Yeah.
If you have good education, you're much more likely to succeed. So coming to a festival like this at the UK Fruit Festival, or any of the other amazing festivals out there like the Woodstock Festival or the Canada Fruit Festival, maybe a retreat, or otherwise reach out to somebody who has more experience than you, and
Exactly.
ask for a consultation, and that way you can avoid a lot of the common pitfalls and traps that might be out there.
Exactly. Amazing tips and super inspiring. And maybe you can just say where we can find you on social media.
Blessing, thank you. The Raw Advantage. I'm at The Raw Advantage on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Snapchat, but my hub is therawadvantage.com. My YouTube's The Raw Advantage too, but I put all those videos on my website to make them even more easy to navigate and get what you really want.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of recipes, lots of tips, lots of fun, lots of silliness, yoga classes, skateboarding, all that
Everything.
fun stuff.
Amazing. And I will link everything below.
Oh,
So,
bless you.
thank you so much for the interview. It was so inspiring, and thank you so much for watching. So,
Thanks.
have a great day. Goodbye.